This is the rock, paper, scissors tutorial for ECS in Scratch. Now, in this, we're going to have a lot of things going on. The first thing we're going to look at requirements, we need a directions screen. You're going to have sprites for both player one and the computer. You're going to let the player know if they won or lost. On top of that, you're going to have the rules for rock, paper, scissors of rock beats paper, or rock beats scissors, scissors beats paper, and so on. And then what happens on a tie. Now, if you're really up for a challenge, you're going to keep score between yourself and the computer. And you're also going to have a timer to limit the input. And if you are extraordinary, you're going to do a rock, paper, scissors, lizard, spot game, which is a lot more complex. So if I come over to Scratch, you're going to notice I have already set up my backdrop and I've set up my sprites. You're going to notice my backdrop is simply click the green flag to reset the game, type JK or L to start the game. The reason I chose JK and L, if you look down at your keyboard, those keys are all successive on the right side. So we're going to use those for our input. If we come over to our sprites then, you're going to notice that we have a rock sprite, a paper sprite, a scissors sprite. I have an instruction sprite in itself, which is the same thing that I'm using here. If I wanted to do it into a second player game, I could do it here, 1 versus 2. And then I have my laptop. So I can see that. And then I have my second sprite over here. For the options, again, I have that rock, paper, scissors, and my instructions. So you're definitely going to want to set up a computer, which is right here, or a player 2 if eventually you go that route, and a player 1 on the right side here. And these sprites will both change to rock, paper, and scissors. So we're going to start off on the sprite 1, which I have labeled as player 1. And we're going to start with our code. Now, I'm simply going to start with changing it when that green flag is clicked. I want to switch my costume or reset my costume to my instructions. You're going to see that. So this will always come up on that right side then. Now, the key in this programming is we're going to have to communicate between player 1 sprite and the computer. So we're going to have to use some broadcast commands. So one of the broadcast commands I'm going to set up, if I come over to control here, or I mean to events, when I receive a message, the message I want to receive is reset. So as I communicate between them, I want to receive my reset. And what do I want to do? I want to switch my costume back to that duplicate. So if I reset, this costume will come back here. Now we're also going to stick with our inputs here. And we're going to say when our buttons are pressed. And again, I need 3 of those. And I'm just going to stick with that JK and L just because they're right by each other on that keyboard. And what do I want to have happen? Well, I need to set my variables now. So I'm going to come up to my variables, and I need to make variables for what I need. Well, I know I need a player 1 variable. I know I need a computer variable because that's my other sprite. Now, simply, I'm going to need a rock, paper, scissors variable. So I'm going to make a variable for rock. I'm going to need one for paper. And I'll need one for scissors. Now, you're going to see them listed here in the screen, but I'm not really worried about those. I'll hide those later as we look into the game. In the next video, I'll show you how to start programming these key strokes.